You're a registered nurse who's lost 20 to 40 pounds and you're noticing that the weight is coming back. You did all the work, you followed the plan, and you're confused on why this weight keeps coming back. I've been working with nurses for the last 5 years. I've coached over 100 nurses and I've seen this problem happen time and time again. And in this video, we're going to go over why exactly the weight is coming back and how to actually stop this so you can lose the weight for good. So the problem is a lot of nurses think it's a behavioral problem. It's a discipline issue. It's a willpower thing. Maybe they need to just want it more so the weight can stay off, but it's actually not a behavioral problem. It's actually a biology problem. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. A lot of nurses just don't understand how problematic cortisol is, and especially elevated cortisol in their system, and why that is a major catalyst in the weight coming back. So you've lost the weight and now you're finding that the weight is coming back, right? You're working 12-hour shifts. It's stressful, right? And especially if you buy into the mentality of probably what helped you lose the weight in the first place, right? So if you lost it naturally, right? Probably trying to eat less calories, probably trying to do more movement, right? Some cardio, running, HIIT workouts. That's also going to be the thing that's going to bring the weight back, right? I hate when I hear from a nurse that I like to work out after my shift and the workout is like a HIIT workout or a CrossFit workout or a High Rocks training. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? You're literally doubling the amount of cortisol production in your body after your shift, because after your shift, you're still usually pretty stressed. Like, the compounding stress from work is still in your system. It doesn't just dissipate because you clock out. It's still there, right? Nurses need to understand that after their shift, they need to do something rejuvenating. And the problem is after your shift, especially if you're a mom, and I get this, right? You have to go take your son or daughter to school. You want to run a few errands. Next thing you know, you're coming back and you're only sleeping for 4 hours, right? So because that sleep is not fixed, because that sleep is not optimal, this is prolonging the cortisol in your system, because when you sleep, your body wants to release different hormones, some oxytocin, some HGH growth hormones to actually recover your body, to heal your body. But because you're not getting optimal sleep, that process isn't happening as it should. So I just want to let you know that your body isn't broken because you lost the weight and now it's back. There's nothing wrong with your body. There's just something wrong with how you're approaching this thing called weight loss, right? And the biggest problem, again, is with the diet with nurses, right? Because you're working in this environment of high stress, you come back home to more stress. You are spiking this cortisol, right? Obviously not intentional, but this cortisol is spiking and it's leading to other behavioral coping mechanisms that you didn't work on, because that initial thing you did to lose the weight was for, again, people working 9 to 5. Usually they work 9 to 5. After they do clock out, it's easier for them, the stress to go down, because they can go out, they can do these things. Like, they didn't spend 12 hours making life or death decisions, right? A lot of times you're probably coming home like, oh my gosh, did I push the right drug? Did I give the right insulin? Did I finish that chart? You're still working in your head. And if you don't understand that this is playing a role on why the cortisol is being permeated through your body and at a consistent rate, which is making the weight come back, right? Because it's leading to things like snacking, leading to things like cravings at night. Now you want some sweets. And now you're doing those behaviors that got you to the first place of being a bit overweight. And that's why the weight is coming back, right? So understanding that, hey, we have to fix the cortisol issue, because that's leading to the poor diet. That's leading to the messed up sleep. That's leading to the irritability and all these behaviors that are not consistent with you keeping the weight off. So this is one of my clients, Destiny, and she's a full-time charge nurse working 5 to 6 days a week, full-time mom of 2 kids. And she came to me because obviously she was struggling to lose the weight. And after her first kid, it was easier for her, for some of that weight to come off, right? But after the second kid, and then years went by, it was like the weight just kept going up, actually. She couldn't lose the weight. The things she tried just wasn't working anymore, right? And she was just confused, like, what's wrong with her body? What's wrong with, her life? That these things that she used to do before to lose the weight, it's just not working anymore right now. So what do? Right? We address the main issue. the cortisol and the system that she's working in. Because if you don't build a system around your life, this is what I told her, the weight will always be there and always keep progressing. You will always keep gaining weight because you're not doing things that fit your lifestyle, right? And those generic plans, those conventional plans, whether given to you by your doctor who has all the right intentions, but they're not trained for weight loss. They're trained for pharmacology, right? A regular personal trainer out there is probably never worked with a nurse, probably never worked in a hospital knowing a nurse's lifestyle, knowing what nurses have to deal with. So they're going to give you, yet again, generic fitness advice that just doesn't work for nurses. So we built a system around her life, right, using the Hot Nurse Protocol, and she was able to not only lose the weight, that is the tip of the iceberg, but most importantly, keep it off. Why? Because she learned new habits that work with her biology, that work with her stress, that work with her lifestyle as a mom, as a wife, as a nurse, that actually helped her keep the weight off. So this can work for you because it's worked for so many other registered nurses in your shoes who've lost the weight before and then just ended up struggling to lose it again. After they committed to something that was actually made for them, they're now seeing what consistent weight loss looks like, what consistent improved health looks like. And I just know this can be the same story for you. Okay, so there are 3 shifts that you need to make to actually keep the weight off for good so it doesn't keep coming back after you lose it. Number 1 is you need to stop cutting calories. I know, again, this is what you were probably indoctrinated in with some of those generic plans that you need to cut your calories, you need to eat 1,200 calories, you need to eat 800 calories. You are a grown woman, right? You are a grown woman. You need to be eating food, not 800 calories. That's not even enough for an adolescent. So of course your body's gonna go into survival mode and gonna be like, oh my gosh, we're not getting any food. We need to not burn off the extra energy that we have, i.e. fat. We need to keep it because this lady is not eating food. So you need to stop cutting the calories. You need to eat food, good calories, right? Good food, whole foods, because that's what's going to make your body comfortable enough to burn off any extra resources, extra energy, i.e. fats, so you can look and feel amazing. Okay, the second shift that you need to make is you need to anchor habits that fit your lifestyle, not the clock. Again, you are not working 9 to 5. There's no breakfast at 8 a.m., lunch at noon, dinner at 6:30, right? It doesn't work with you. You're working, especially if you're working rotating schedules. You need to anchor those eating times. You need to anchor this everything, right? The system that keeps you fit, that keeps you consistent with your health, you need to anchor that per your shift, right? So if you're working night shift, you need to make sure that, hey, before your shift is a pre-shift meal, right? And maybe you're bringing something for during the shift when it's a little bit slow, and then you have something for post-shift, right? And then you go to sleep, right? So you need to anchor your behavioral habits. You need to anchor the things in the system that we teach you in the Hot Nurse Protocol that make it super simple, right? Per your lifestyle as a registered nurse, not working a 9 to 5 generic clock schedules. So the last shift, which is probably the most important and crucial part of this, is managing your cortisol, managing the stress. This is so critical because if you don't manage the stress and you're still working as a full-time registered nurse in a highly stressful environment where it's forcing your cortisol to be a little bit more elevated than the average folk who's working a 9 to 5, you're going to see the weight come back. The weight has come back. Nobody can escape biology, no matter how many hours of cardio you do, which we just learned is producing more cortisol in your body. No matter how much you cut your calories, which we've just learned is going to make your body feel unsafe, feel like there's no food coming in. So it's going to get into survival mode, which is not going to burn the calories, right? Which is not going to burn the fat. So we need to manage our stress. We need to manage our cortisol. We need to have stress management options. This is the thing I created while working at MedStar Hospital during COVID because the nurses were so burnt out. So I was blessed to get the opportunity to help them and create these options so they can have a good peace of mind, so they can have a protocol to manage the stress and keep the weight at bay. So we need to have these 3 shifts in order to keep the weight off, unless you're going to keep seeing the same thing of losing the weight and the weight coming back and losing the weight and the weight coming back. And you should know that this is not good for your metabolism as a whole. This could be like a toxic Hiroshima to your metabolism as you keep losing and picking up and losing and picking up and losing and picking up. That's going to hurt you in the long run and make it almost impossible to lose weight, and you don't want to be in that position. You're not here watching this video because you lack discipline. You're here because you followed a plan that wasn't built for you, and now the weight is back. I work with nurses one-on-one to help them lose 20 to 50 pounds and keep the weight off, because we've actually created a plan built specifically for nurses. And I created this during COVID, during the worst of the worst, working with nurses one-on-one in the hospital. They were working 16-hour shifts, wearing the PPE mask and the whole garment covered head to toe. And you guys know the protocol in the hospital at the time was crazy. It was so egregious. And if it can work for COVID nurses, if they can follow this system and lose the weight and keep it off and have high energy and have more confidence and feel better and their health be better, why not you, right? So what I want you to do is click the link in the description to apply for my one-on-one premium coaching program, the Hot Nurse Protocol, just for us to book a quick call so we can put a game plan for you, for your lifestyle, to help you be successful and keep this weight off. You put everybody else first. You do everything for everybody, and this is your moment to take 20 minutes for yourself so you never have to watch a video like this again. I hope you really got a lot of value from this video, and if you did, you're going to want to watch this one too. Peace.